Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first edition of Braga.Blockchain. A new star is born. This is a new community that is being started today. I'm really happy with the quality of the speakers that we have with us today and the moderators. I will not spend a lot of time explaining what this is. It's a meetup. It happens when it happens. Maybe every two months, every month, we don't know yet. But if this goes well, I'm seeing that it's going, I'm sure that it will happen frequently. Without further ado, Mario, please take over, and thank you for coming.
All right, so let's kick this off. So with me at my left, I have Emília Vieira. Emília Vieira is chairman and CEO of Casa de Investimentos. Then I have Simão Cruz, managing partner at Lightshift Capital. And I have António Simões, partner at SumCap. So to start with the introductions, Emília, in short, what does Casa de Investimentos?
Casa de Investimentos is an asset management that follows value investing philosophy. We are quality value investors. We manage around 180 million euros. We started in November 15th, 2010, working for individual clients. And since then, we launched last year in October an investment fund with the name Casa Global Value, PPR, meaning Plano de Poupança Reforma, that means retirement plan fund. We invest in this fund in the same way as we invest for our bigger client that has with us 26 million. We invest in the same way. So when I speak about this fund, we say that is managing money as we do with rich people, and we should, for people that start with small amounts, they should manage money as well as the richest families in the world. And what we do is basically this. So we are a asset manager and a funds manager. We have the two licenses from the regulator, Portuguese regulator, CMVM.
Cool. Okay, so Simão, what about Lightshift Capital? So what is your vision for Lightshift Capital, and in which stage is it at right now?
Yeah, first of all, thank you a lot, Mario, for moderating, and everyone for coming. I think it's great to see the community growing so much, and since I've been here, it's great to see how big the blockchain community is in Braga and how much it's growing. And yeah, I think I would say that for Lightshift Capital, so we're pretty much an early stage fund investing in decentralized companies, mostly in tokens in the financial services area. And Lightshift comes from big changes that we're seeing in the market. I think we're very excited to see how much the ecosystem is changing and the opportunities that appear from it. And we identified two main trends in the industry when investing early stage. So the first one is that there's a lot of capital out there in the world, right? So you can see the crypto and blockchain markets going up a lot, and having these ups and downs and a lot of liquidity. The early stage companies are having a much easier time than in other moments in history to raise capital. But they are lacking a lot actually the human resources, people that have a lot of experience building these new companies. And the second main trend that we're seeing in the industry is that nowadays we have huge companies because they are built by a much bigger community. Instead of having 10 guys working on their payroll or directly for them, they're actually able to sell this big vision to people that may be in China, that may be in the US, in Africa, in Europe, and so many other places, right? And a person that wakes up and one day wants to contribute to this project. And so very easily you end up having projects like Ethereum, like Optimism, and many other that have a ton of contributors. And so we're pretty much coming in with a team that has the business capabilities, hopefully to identify great companies, as Emilia has been doing, but also with a team of engineers, with a team of people that has the experience in building and that can add value, that can build alongside these founders. And so that's the vision, is to invest in the financial services area to add a lot more value to these startups. And regarding the second part of the question, we're actually just getting started. We're organizing these funds as a community, not just as a group of managers that work for some LPs. So really try to bring some of the best builders in the space, the founders of Ethereum, Polkadot, Anchorage, like all these big companies, the best GPs in the world, A16Z, SoftBank, so many other, and finally also some of the largest funds, because we really believe if we get like this community, the portfolio companies will have a much easier time building what they want and accessing all these networks.
Thank you, Simo. It's awesome to see like a very newborn project coming to life and having these amazing partners and these amazing investors already. So congrats on that. Thanks. Antonio, I know that you are deep into DeFi. So my question to you would be, what is DeFi to you? And what does SumCap does in this space?
Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to share the stage with you guys and before this wonderful crypto community. I think I forgot to say GN or GM in the crypto world. So yeah, I'm Antonio from SumCap. In SumCap, SumCap is probably the best place for you to allocate your stablecoins. We do the market recognition of achieving the best yields available on the market throughout a series of diversified strategies, of course with the best security standards in place. So yeah, we started some months ago. We are ramping up our AUM, and yeah, your stablecoins in SumCap are in for a greater sum. So with that said, SumCap, it's understood the place in DeFi. It's for a savings account on steroids. It's the main use case of SumCap. So yeah, DeFi for me, I like to think it about DeFi in more of a human rights perspective. So DeFi is a way to access freedom, financial freedom, and I mean this by it's actually I think it's actually the killer product that Ethereum and crypto envisioned some years ago, and one major narrative was to bank the unbanked people, the people that didn't have. More people in the world have internet access than have bank access, financial service access, and in that matter, it makes total sense to DeFi to be a tool for freedom. And for example, and I noticed that DeFi has some growing pains. It probably is not there yet, and it's there for other narrative that is similar. That I think about this way. That is, and banking the banked people, and which it's not kind of reverse. It's not the contrary to banking the unbanked people. But for example, for myself, I see myself more and more each day using DeFi rather than using my traditional bank. If I want to, currently my salary is being paid with DeFi. My salary is being streamed right now. As we speak, each second, the salary is being streamed. So it's something that is quite not possible with traditional finance. If I want to take a mortgage, I can apply for a self-repaying loan for my home or for my car. If I want to bet on sport market, I don't need to go to Placar or I need to go to BetClick. I can just use my MetaMask and collect digital art, all the other use cases that DeFi provides, that traditional finance provides already, but DeFi will unlock many more possibilities regardless of your geolocation, of your nationality, of your net worth, skin tone. And so, yeah, I think DeFi, for me, is freedom.
Good. That's a good explanation and a good vision for DeFi. I hope that it truly comes through. I agree that there are lots of problems still to solve, but that's good, right? So we didn't have DeFi in, I would say, a couple of years time. So these problems are good for the industry.
Growing pains.
Growing pains, exactly. Emilia, picking up on what you said, like managing your client's portfolio as rich people do, so having this concern of managing it in a very thorough and in a very careful way, how do you diversify your client's portfolio? And also, how does Casa de Investimento monetizes that portfolio?
Okay, so actually, when I came in, I was really a bit worried because I'm among the very few that is not wearing tennis. So I hope everyone can understand easily what we do. We do the easy stuff and the safe stuff compared with these guys. What we do is we invest in the stock market, trying to buy the best companies in the world at sensible prices. So in other words, our method is very simple. We look for the best companies. We try to look for extraordinary business run by very able and intelligent people, and we try to buy them with a margin of safety. Margin of safety means that the difference between the market quote and the value that the stock has should be high for us, should be large. So we try, this is a value investing philosophy, but with a tilt to quality. We like to look to quality. So at this moment, just to give you an example, in our portfolio we have Google, Amazon, and many companies that actually are connected to cryptos, as NVIDIA, that is one of our highest positions. We bought last March due to the concerns of inflation. The NVIDIA price went down around 30%. We bought it and is now, we bought 2% of the portfolio, is now waiting in the portfolio around 5%. So to look to any business, to any investment opportunity, we need to take it through a four-filter strategy. First, we need to be able to understand the business, how a company does, how a company makes money, or how it transforms $1 or €1 in €1.20 or $1.20. So if it is not in our circle of competence, we just put it aside. It's not for us. Second, we look for businesses that have durable and strong competitive advantages. As in the Middle Age, when you have the castles with a moat around just to protect for the enemies, the moat in a company means the competitive advantages that comes from the brand or from the proximity of a resource or from knowledge in a specific area, etc. So we need to have to see that the business have strong competitive advantage that allows it to make to have high returns on invested capital. We need to see that the balance sheets of these companies are very strong. They have a lot of cash, and they don't hold much debt. That gives them the freedom when we have bear markets, when we have depressions, that these companies can go out in the market and buy competitors and expand their business. We then like to look for the third filter is management. Management is a very strong pillar that for us is very important. We need to see people that have the interest of the shareholders at heart, that are very frank, communicate, are very candid with market, communicating what they are doing. They are very good managers in allocating capital. So we need to look to the history of the managers and see how they take decisions, how they reinvest the cash flows of the company that we like to be growing up all the time. and see if they can reinvest this money at the same or higher rates of returns. Management for us is looking to their history, the history they have in the company, and if seeing that their payment is in line with the long-term vision for the company. And obviously, knowing the business, knowing the competitive advantages, understanding how good the management is, there is no business that is worth an infinite price. So for us, it's very important to buy at discount because this is how we protect our clients' money. So we manage our clients' money, family money. In many cases, we manage 95% of a family's money. Our work is to safeguard their future and to earn, to increase their pricing, their power in the future. I'm sorry, I was having earlier today the talks with Observador, Jornal Observador, so I just came rushing on a bit. We try to earn above inflation returns to preserve our clients. I'm sorry, purchasing power. Thank you so much. Thank you indeed. So our work is very intense for looking through financial statements, balance sheets, to quantitative and qualitative information to reach a value that we think the company is worth. So what we have to do is to put a value in an asset and look into this business. So from the 50,000 companies or more quoting in stock markets in the world, most of the business, we don't really care at all with them. We want to focus in 100 or 200 businesses that are stellar in results, that have all these metrics that we like to look at, and we try to know at each time how much they are worth. If the market brings them down, if they miss the quarter estimates of the analysts or something like that, it's a good opportunity for us to get in and buy, as it was, for instance, this year with NVIDIA. So what we do is how we monetize. This is the investment philosophy as quality-based, quality and value-based. And what we do is in our private individual accounts, that these portfolios are independently managed, we charge a fixed fee. So these accounts can be for a company or for a particular client, and we charge 1% fee above 100,000 euros, plus a 10% performance on what we earn to the client. So this means that we feel that we have the interests aligned with our clients. On the fund, the PPR, the Plano de Poupança Rentável, as I like to call it, not Reforma, because ours is really profitable. Since the launch is around 40% since last year. So we do our founders, that are 1,776, I think. This was the first class launched in the 1st of October 2020 until the 30th of September this year. I'm having here a colleague, so he's helping me. And since then, we launched a second class that is Prime. In the founders class, we charge 1.3% of the assets under management. It was 1.4, but as we grow up quickly, we gave them a prize for bringing us their friends, their relatives, their colleagues. As what we want to do with this PPR, most of our work is actually financial literacy, is trying to teach people that investing in stocks is not gambling. As far as we do all the work, that allow us to perceive how much is worth and what we have to pay to have it, and we like to have this discount. So it's to teach people that independently of their experience in the stock market, as in Psy 20, a lot of planes crashed, as we know, but if they do it with good companies, there is the best class to be invested in. As I was talking earlier today with Observador, there are 3 important studies in this matter that compares all the 4 asset classes in the world, and independently of the geography or the length of time, the triumph of the optimists is a work of L. Ray Dimes and Paul Marsh and Mike Staunton that shows from 1898 until now, stocks were the best class that gave better returns, 6.5% above inflation, that in this period is around 3%. So what we want is that most of the people can at least have an experience with 20, 25, 30 or more, as in my case is more than 90% in the stock market, sharing the profits with some of the richest families in the world, like Jeff Bezos, like Sergey Brin, like Warren Buffett, like many of these companies where the best families invest their money. And we can do it. So that's great. With this fund, what we do in our communications, in our letters to clients, we try to explain it, how we do it, the rationale, the fundamentals, because this is a fundamental approach to what the underlying wealth the company creates for shareholders. And this is what we think is safe to them, because the market always recovers, always recovers from crashes. So if we have the best business, those are the business that can go out, invest, and buy these cheap companies and increase their competitive advantages. So this is what we do.
Great. Thank you, Emilia. I would just like to remind you all that this panel is about modern ways to make capital work for you. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be through crypto or DeFi. Here we have like a great example of how to invest in stocks and how to make money also by using Casa de Investimentos funds. So thank you for that, Emilia.
She had to say this, otherwise I wouldn't come.
She's paying me in the PPR.
Yeah, thank you.
So Simon, following up on this question that I just asked Emilia, how do you see Lightshift, obviously in a different format, managing its portfolio? So what do you feel like it's different from Lightshift versus traditional funds or VCs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would actually say that we share a lot of the ideas that Emilia just described. And probably like the easiest way would even like compare the two, because we're totally aligned in most of them. So I would say that first of all, we love to work with great people, with great teams, and we have to invest in the best ones out there. So one of the biggest changes is that actually in the crypto community, the team actually becomes a lot smaller than the company, right? So we look at some of the largest companies that Emilia was just describing. We look at Google with Sergey, we look at Jeff Bezos with Amazon, Mark with Facebook, and so many other. And suddenly we look at crypto, and most people, know the biggest chains. They may even know like Solana, Avalanche, Cardano, but most people don't actually know like who's the founder or the name of the founder. Most people don't know like Charles or Doe from Terra or all these companies. So actually the community has to be a lot stronger than the people who created it. Not a founder that takes it from the ground, goes to the IPO, and is the face of the company, is like the hero of the story. And so now we have like this big change. It's not just about like looking at the initial people. Of course, it matters a lot. But then how can we actually bring a lot more people on board to make this ecosystem grow? And so that's something that we're investing a lot in. The second thing that Emilia said and is extremely important is the circle of competence. And that's one of the hardest things to do in crypto, right? It's so exciting, right? Everyone has like new chains or has like NFTs or all these like yield farming opportunities and new things around. Like, where can we choose from? Blockchain is being applied more and more like to supply chain or to art or to so many other industries that sticking to one single thing is extremely hard. But from our perspective, is actually what's going to bring the highest returns. Because as we were speaking before, right, if we want to have a team that can contribute to these projects, we really need to like create expertise that very few people in the world have. And so in our case, we tend to focus on financial services. We're very excited about 4 main areas. The first one being like layers, new protocols, anything that can be like an infrastructure. We believe that will grow a lot. And we really see it, you know, with a lot of interoperability. Right now, we still have a lot of chains doing their own things, but how can we connect them? How can we create like an universal playground and applications that are easy to interact with from one single wallet? Second of all, we have like DeFi applications, so changing how people invest, transact, and what probably will be replacing what you use today as banks or insurance companies or credit lines and so many other services around. Then we also have opportunities that we call the world connectors. And that's one area that we also find very exciting. That is, probably, you know, we're creating this whole new world of crypto, of DeFi that never existed before. Most people never touched these systems, and some of the applications were not even possible in traditional finance. But there's also, you know, a lot of this, a lot of, I expect a lot of the companies that Emilia is investing in that will keep doing the same thing, but will start to use blockchain instead. Will replace their systems and the underlying technology. And so we call like this section the world connectors that will help these companies transition from a legacy physical world to actually a digital one. And finally, we also have what we call programmable money. So we see a huge trend in the industry in which people care less and less about what they have, you know, in real life, I would put it this way. So most people don't care about a car anymore. They take an Uber. They don't care about their place. They just get an Airbnb, so on and so forth. They care a lot more about the digital world, right? Most people are now buying these NFTs and cats and dogs and everything that's out there and having their money. Their house may be a token very, very soon. They may be able to get the rent to someone else or to sell their house immediately to buy another car very, very soon in the coming years. And so we see a lot of money and value coming to their computers, to the digital world. And so, yeah, we call this new area programmable money, enabling new use cases on the Web 3.0. And we also think that that will be a very, very interesting area to work on. And so, very excited about like building this new world of crypto, but also replacing all these legacy infrastructures. And so our circle of competence is very important. Regarding buying at the margin of safety, we absolutely love that. We try to be the first check coming in. As Emilia said, it has a lot more risk because the outcomes, of course, we have a lot less data points than a publicly listed company to try to predict what the outcome will be. We try to invest in businesses that really have a competitive advantage, a position in the market, and finally, what we're speaking about, how can we turn this dollar into $1.20? What is the actual value that I'm investing in through all the value investing is being done through what we call nowadays like tokenomics, right? This new area that came up with crypto that is solely focused on what are the characteristics of these tokens that we're putting out there. And we see that as one of the biggest opportunities out there. Most people are investing in these businesses. They know what they do, but they don't actually understand what they're paying for when they're buying one of these tokens. What type of value they are getting, or what type of value even the company is getting and distributing. Is the company selling equity? Is this company selling like a mix between equity and tokens, or just tokens, right? And so really understanding, going deep, once again, another point that Emilia said, like what is understanding fully what these companies are doing and selling, and then through the tokenomics, really taking as much value as possible, not just for the investors, but as an incentive to the community and making these projects grow as much as possible. And so, yeah, I'll reinforce we're totally aligned, probably different industries, a bit more early stage, and really focus on what we can build.
Exciting times, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Antonio. This question is, I would say, the same, but written in a different way. So how do you manage risk in DeFi? And how do you increase the chance of success, if that is possible?
Yeah. Well, as I'm rather optimistic about DeFi, I'll probably rephrase the question to not increase the chance of success, but to decrease the chance of failure, of a rug pull, or some other fears that might arise to outside community or someone dipping their toes in DeFi that they hear about, some baseless fears. So I can categorize the risks probably in 3-4 main areas. The first one is regulatory risk. People outside of that more people outside of crypto talk about than people inside of crypto talk about, from my personal experience. So they are actually afraid that the government will, whenever I try to pull my friends to invest in crypto, you can diversify your portfolio or put some your dollars working for you on high yield in DeFi. They say, oh, but government is coming with a major ban, or stable coins will be pulling the plug, and you will not be able to redeem a stable coin for $1, and so on, and so on, and so on. But I think crypto is already a 3 trillion market cap, public market cap, not counting with private raisings that are much more than that, increasing that number. And I think it's a greater risk for you not to try DeFi. It's a greater risk for the government to ban crypto and to somehow ban, because DeFi, the smart contracts are already deployed. So a government, what can do is ban your access to the websites, to the Uniswap front end. So you can always have the other way around. As long as Ethereum miners and blockchain miners are there, DeFi is living. So I think it's actually riskier for the government to ban something that people want than people not risking to try out DeFi, to learn a new tool, to learn about the Web3, new ways of making money, of making knowledge. So yeah, it's as much as a paradigm shift as Uber was to, and Airbnb was to transport and tourist sector, as DeFi is to financial sector. People will demand it. So yeah, regulatory risk, I think my verdict is like crypto is too big to fail already. So I have no fear on that regard. Then of course in DeFi, some due diligence is needed to be done regarding protocol or product specific risks. So let's take, for example, nowadays is common for you to on DeFi to lend money to real world companies. On this specific protocol, of course, the risk is for you this company that was whitelisted by a team, not repaying the borrow on time. So this is a product specific risk. But this derives, and it's much from the risk analysis that Emilia does and that Lightshift is doing at the level of pre-seed companies. It's also the same on the protocols that are already deployed. It's easy. It doesn't, even a colorblind will know what the blue chip is on DeFi. So, so yeah, it's easy to gauge and to measure which are the riskier protocols where you'll put your money, what's the risk. If there's some rules of thumb that it's not that different from the live purchases you do. If the protocol is good, if the money that is there already deposited, and if the team is anonymous or not, some rules of thumb that are quite easy to grasp. Then I would speak about the smart contract risk, which is inevitable. Any DeFi product has a smart contract risk failure, a possibility of failure. Not every programmer is perfect, and no one is perfect. So on this regard, it also boils down to how good the company is, the company or the product is, how good the community is, how frequently they do updates to their... basically it boils down to the team quality. But even then, if you can sleep at night with your money deposited in a smart contract that can be hacked, and the bug bounties are not good enough for you, or if you can sleep at night, you actually can do two things. One of them, you can already purchase some insurance for the smart contracts you are depositing in, either on-chain or a mix of off-chain and on-chain analysis. I'm talking here about Nexus Mutual. Purely on-chain is Risk Harbor, for instance. And yeah, for example, you want to deposit 10K over a year in some lending market, you pay upfront a fee of 2%. So if it promises you 10%, or it's not promises, DeFi is not promised, but if the APR, expected APR is 10%, you give up 2% upfront for you to sleep better. So, and the second option is outsourcing your money to your stablecoins to SumCap. We do the due diligence for you. we have a risk assessment framework, of course, but bottom line, a verdict: you don't need to be a DeFi shadowy supercoder or have macroeconomic or microeconomic skills to analyze where to go into that layer for you to gauge the risk of your money being returned, being used. So yeah, I'm quite bullish on, as we speak, risk mitigation is going down in several areas, is going down overall in DeFi.
Cool. So basically, you have, to sum it up, you have two options: do your own research or trust in SumCap, right? So these are the best options, yeah, not the only ones, but the best options. But the research,
not that research is very hard to do. It's common sense, but yeah, SumCap, it's a good option as well.
Okay, perfect. All right, Emilia, we're coming to an end, so I believe that everyone is curious about this question. So
I believe so.
So you have a stellar performance on the stock market. I spoke with Roberto today that told me that your fund is actually awarded in Europe as one of the best funds in terms of performance. So my question would be, what is your vision over crypto and DeFi? And do you think that it could be a part in your client's portfolio in the future? Are you considering it? What do you see in this space?
And then this is what we were waiting for, right? Well, what we do is actually very simple. It's not easy to do because it comes human nature, animal spirits, and you derail some path that you try to fix for the long term. But it's simple. It's something that is easy to understand. To buy wonderful businesses managed by able people, bought a discount, you can never do better, is what I'm saying. So the thing is, we need to put a value on things. I don't know, it's not in my circle of competence to put a value on crypto. I don't know what it's worth. Because the point of view that I make here is clear. When I value a bond is a streaming of cash flows. It pays a 10-year bond, a 10-year government bond pays a coupon every year. If you want to value it, we just have to present value all these cash flows, to discount them today and see how much it's worth. When you value a company, it's more or less the same thing. We just don't have the exact coupon. Nobody tells us the fixed rate that we will get every year to have these profits of the company. But that we are able to fix that. We are able to looking at businesses that with a very solid and conservative estimates, we can actually reach a value, what we think is the intrinsic value of the assets. With crypto, we don't know. We don't know because there are no cash flows, because there are no streaming of cash flows. So to us is a tough task, and that would is something that we don't do because we don't feel competent to do it. We can understand a bit in my case the technology, but I cannot understand blockchain, and if we'll do over time. What I'm able to tell you is that what I apply to crypto, I do for many companies quoting in the market, because we look at companies that have they have a fantastic story. They have, anyway, it looks wonderful prospects, but we cannot assess the probabilities of the future outcomes. If we cannot have that, we cannot value these companies. And that we just park them aside, because we don't need to make money in everything that moves. We just need to work in our circle of competence. And what we do is very serious. To manage family money is having part of their future in our hands, is enabling these people to live better in the future, to feel safe, to dream to have a better future. So why would I risk, in my case, 1 or 2% of my family wealth or my client's wealth to bet in something that maybe or maybe not be a good investment? I would never do this. But we are trying to learn fast, and knowing Roberto is helping us understand things, and we like challenges. We like to understand businesses, and as I told you, being investors in big tech, as we are, in our portfolio we have wonderful, good business, good tech. These are companies that from one way or another, they are invested in blockchain. So I'm not talking about NVIDIA or Visa or MasterCard that are in our portfolio and are already in blockchain and in crypto. Yeah. But I don't know what the future brings. But let me tell you one story. In 1900, in the United States, there were more than 2,000 car brands. Today, there are 3. All the others went bankrupt. So we don't mind to come late, but have more sure payoffs. We don't mind to come late. And I think it's wise to do that. We are a kind of a chicken. We like to invest with a good margin of safety and sleep well at night, because managing our clients' money is really very good for us. It's very important to be able to grow through time. In 11 years, some of the clients that start in the first 6 months of Casa de Investimentos life, and I'm grateful to them, because to create a financial name from zero is very difficult. I started working 32 years ago in BPA, most of you never heard of, Banco Português do Atlântico, and I worked many years abroad, teaching banks all over the world. And I do think the most important thing that we can do is passing knowledge to clients, or helping them to look much better after their wealth, because this is the best way to improve civilization, to allow people to live better. So we don't mind to come late to this business as well, if we'll have reason to be there.
Good. I think that we're out of time. 2 minutes. Okay, so 2 minutes, it's not much, but I will try to come up with a different question. All right, this one is for Simão. Okay, Simão, you already know that you have 2 minutes. Sorry about that. Okay. How do you see the crypto space evolving? which are the projects or the trends that excite you the most?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so of course the ones I mentioned before, I think that are very exciting. There are all these new areas, especially on the technological side, right? So even NFTs technology have been just applied to almost JPEGs or images, and we really have the possibility of getting these non-fungible tokens to many other things that we have in our real lives. So I think that is very exciting. But I think one of the main trends that we're seeing and we're most excited about goes a bit with what was being spoken here, and has to do with this tokenomics and how we can value companies, right? Because we in fact started blockchain with Bitcoin, and it was very hard to assess Bitcoin as a company or as an investment since we didn't have those cash flows. But really, right now, we can have, new types of companies or of projects that end up being decentralized, and instead of having equity, have tokens to incentivize their communities and to create, new mechanisms for people to participate, and above all, to contribute to that big dream and vision. So we see the network effects coming from this community being actually a lot more powerful. And I think above all, that's really what has been changing a lot, and that will allow us to see what the cash flows are, how they're being distributed by these people, these communities, and then get to a price to also understand if it's below or above the value that this company is generating. So I think that's the main trend overall with so many technologies going on.
Cool. Shall we wrap this up? Okay, so this is not a question, just wrapping up. I would like first to thank Roberto. This is amazing stuff. And to thank all of you, Emilia, Simão, and António, for being here. I think that your knowledge is quite valuable. At least I'm very excited from what I heard today. I hope that the audience is too. And last but not least, to you that came to learn a little bit more about modern ways on how to make capital work for you. So this was a pleasure. Thank you very much all. And let's go to the next roundtable, right? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mario. So now we need to change the mics. I will do a dance here to entertain people. If anyone wants to join, no, that will not happen. So just a note, if you want to speak in the next event, you can offer me a hoodie. That's what SamCap just did. That's why they are here. What else? Thank you again, Mario, Emilia, Simão, and António. This was great. The next roundtable, it's about stories, the stories that made us. And the idea is to showcase a few companies that were born in Braga or grow up in Braga or in the surroundings. A lot of you are not from Braga, but this is quite a special place to get a blockchain company started. Definitely, you can look around the amount of people that are here. It's amazing. And we are going to have Joanna from Exceed Me moderating the debate, Danielle from Uphold, Nuno from Utrust, my dear co-founder of Utrust, and Cristiano from Sandclock. I really need to do a dance, right? Because it will take a while. Simão, do you want to join me with a dance? Okay. If you want to grab a beer or something, please do. We have Letra here. And this is it. I don't know what else to say. I can sing. Yeah, that will be scary. We can do like just a break. And I'll be back. Okay, people, let's start the second roundtable. Thank you so much for coming. Joanna, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for coming once again. I was about to talk about dancing, but Roberto just took my quotes, because in about an hour there is a dancing class starting in this room. So no pressure. We have to be quick, but we have 1 hour to tell stories. So the topic now is a bit different. We were talking about money, and now we're going to talk about the roller coaster that is working and starting a Web3 project. Probably many of us in the room have some stories to share on this topic, but to be conscious of time, and because of the dancing class, we invited these 3 special guests, Cristiano, Nuno, and Daniel, that are going to share some of their stories and their projects with us. So let's kick off this. My first question, and it is for all of you, for the 3 of you, to just talk a bit how it started and how you came up with your project.
Yeah. So it's actually because of that dog over there. She back in I believe it was October of last year. I stopped working at Acropolis for a multitude of reasons. Our dog swallowed a bone, developed a condition known as EPI, a pancreatic issue. She could not digest food. Vets in Portugal could not diagnose her, and she was losing weight rapidly. She was certainly going to die, and then it was thanks to this very small non-profit that she was able to survive, because they provided me with the information required to basically diagnose her myself, and now she has to take enzymes. And this moment sparked something in me, and I thought, how can I leverage my knowledge to give back and help these companies solve a very common problem that exists among non-profits, which is actually cash flows. There is no consistency. They have to do constant fundraisers. They don't know how much they're going to raise. And with DeFi, with a lack of middlemen, rent seekers, and so on, I thought, why not create a new type of endowment, a lossless endowment that just essentially routes only the yield, a portion of the yield that the user chooses, in order to fund these NPOs. And that was the genesis story of how it began. Eventually, we decided to generalize the concept and apply it to just unlocking the programmability of capital. And now you'll be able to point the hose at whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a non-profit. It can be another smart contract that dollar cost averages into another asset. It can be another wallet. It can be essentially anything, and it can be also your principal. But that is the gist of it.
Oh, thank you. No, what about you, Trust?
Is it working? Yeah, U-Trust was an idea that came to me in 2016. I used to use some Bitcoins to buy several things, skins, make payments, whatever. And I used a payment gateway a certain day. And basically I lost a lot of Bitcoins. Then I decided to do something better with buyer protection, because I understand the need of decentralized payments. I'm pro it, I was a user, but at the same time, I thought that was necessary to have a buyer protection on some way or another. So there will never be a solution for payments that is fully decentralized without jeopardizing, obviously, the protection of buyers. Because if you send Bitcoin to someone directly, you are taking a risk, right? Because if they don't deliver the goods and services, it's irreversible because it's on a blockchain and it's anonymous, kind of, because obviously you have tools now but it is anonymous at the end of the day. So I decided to do like an hybrid of what people were doing at that time. I mean, naming BitPay and others.
Okay.
It empowers people all around the world to pay from their centralized wallets or centralized, doesn't matter, because centralized also broadcast the vast majority, like exchange transactions to the blockchain. So it empowers you to pay from any wallet in the world. Then basically what UTrust does, collects the payments for the merchant, and then the merchant has the option to convert to fiat or not. We also provide accounting tools necessary from a tax purpose, because 90% of the solutions you have now are not tax efficient, because if a merchant receives Bitcoin directly, if it appreciates, he's immediately incurring in a tax liability. So what we do, we immediately convert to fiat, or we deliver the crypto asset, but the merchant needs to have obviously knowledge that depreciation will also be taxed in his country, because most of our users are companies, right? Yeah. And I wanted to create a better solution. Obviously, I have an amazing team. I didn't create this by myself. This was just an idea. I talked to several friends of mine, and we built UTrust.
Did you have any experience with Web3 before, apart from like the user experience?
As a user and as a long-term Bitcoin holder, seller, buyer. I mean, I was in this field. I was in Bitcoin talk. I mean, I'm quite old in this space. That's why I decided to do this. I took a major risk. From being a guy with traditional companies, ventures, to deciding to build a crypto payment solution is a long thing, right? But I was always in the forums. I was very active on the Bitcoin community in Portugal, right? And that's why I decided to do something crazy. Obviously, in 2017 went the ICO craze, the same as you have now IDOs, right? Yeah. The way you obviously raise some of your capital. And it basically empowers entrepreneurs. You have bad actors, obviously, but good entrepreneurs to fund their ideas through a large community that's very supportive and that has skin on the game, obviously the tokens, right? And then in 2017, I thought I need to do an ICO because this is how I'm going to fund this crazy idea, because I don't have money for this, right? And it's too expensive. You cannot build up a payment gateway that needs to fight with all the biggest ones at that time without money, right? I didn't have the capital for that, so I thought this is a great opportunity. I know people in the field. It's like a puzzle, the best around me.
The ecosystem was already being created at the time?
It was small at that time. In Portugal, probably nobody in 2017. You had some people buying into ICOs, losing money, whatever, but it was not as it is today. I think Portugal is booming now. Have great expectations for Portugal. I do believe that we are very friendly for foreigners as well, for them to come here, and it's like I don't call it a domino. It's a snowball effect that gets bigger and bigger, and then we create here a community of Portuguese and foreigners that push this industry forward. And the government is not pushing back, right? They are not taxing it. They are not stupid. Portugal taxes everything they can, right? They still didn't touch crypto. Don't ask me why. Somebody inside there must have a reason for that. I hope it stays the same. If it tax it low. So people come here, create jobs, the best technology they can, and the country develops on top of the future. Imagine being the country attracting the best talent in the world of tech, right? Because Web3, as they call it now, and we call ourselves Web3 payment technology, right? Yeah. We need to go with the flow, right? First was blockchain, now it's Web3. I love that. I mean, it's true, right?
Evolving.
So I think the industry overall is growing here, and I see amazing people building crazy stuff. Some will fail, some will win. I can fail, I can win, doesn't matter. We need to experiment, build it, and attract a lot of talent and grow this ecosystem. Not only in Portugal. I'm talking in Portugal, obviously, because I'm seeing the growth here, right? But all over the world. And I will pass the word to you because I'm talking like for ages. I need to drink some wine, so.
We still have time.
Cool.
So I would like to start with seeing this today. This is amazing what 9 pages and 13 years later has accomplished to the world. And in regards to us, Uphold, basically as a lot of other companies, we were born from a vision. And that vision was based on what the person that had that vision saw at the time. This was still early stages, 2012, 2013. And they saw how crypto, in its infancy still, would be changing the paradigms of two very important things, which is trust and decentralization, and how you can change this paradigm of trust, which is very fulcral on all interactions, in even more in social interactions. There must be trust in order for a lot of stuff to happen as a society. And this new concept of decentralized cryptocurrencies brought a way to decentralize trust, that you would not have to have a unique point of failure. And that vision allowed them to say, wait, this is here, this is amazing, this is transformational, this is here to stay. The technology at the time was still very nascent. The tools were still on the early stages, on the alphas and betas of development. So they've started the company in order to basically leverage what they've noticed, that this would be a transformational change to how humanity deals with trust and decentralization. I wasn't on the original team, unfortunately, but I do know the story, and we're here to tell a story, so that's how I'll frame it to you. The vision came initially, and the vision came from a person within the US, which on the very early stages contacted a team of developers here in Braga. And they were tasked with basically building this vision that this person had that would bridge. And that's a way that we can call ourselves in the company. And we are a bridge between the traditional financial system and this brand new, brave world that's constantly shifting, constantly evolving, and then a bridge between the owner and their digital assets, the owner and their traditional assets, and bringing it all together in a seamless platform where you would be able to transact from anything to anything. And that brings us to the lemma of the company, and that's what we've been working to build upon for 7 years now. I'm with the company for 6 years, so it's been a long journey by now, especially, and again, measured on crypto years, it's absurd, it's amazing. But the vision was based on that we knew that this would be transformational for humanity, and the tools were very nascent and very faulty at early stages. And we endeavored ourselves to, let's make it better. Let's make them better. Let's make them more accessible. Let's make them user-friendly. So not only the more technically versed people are able to interact with this brave new world that's burning, that's coming into existence, but let's allow others with less technology-gifted minds or less technology backgrounds to be able to interact with those as well, because, and this was mentioned in the previous conversation, which is this is technology that is here to empower people, not only people that are able to use this technology. And that's where we come in to bridge the difficult parts of maintaining daemons and gateways and wallets and dealing with contracts and all of that stuff, and packaging that in a UI, which is very user-friendly, very simple, and building an element of trust on this brave new world, which sometimes is too Wild Westy for a lot of people.
And it's a tough mission, right?
It is a tough mission. It is a tough mission because we're a company, we're growing, we've come to a hyper-growth stage, but we're trying to maintain the connection with so much out there. This is a space that's grown absurdly too much out there. There's teams building new stuff, new technology. You have proof of stake, proof of history, proof of whatever.
Every day a new thing.
Every day new technologies come in, new ways of approaching this. And the kind of specification we were arriving at, we're already maximizing mathematical questions in order to make this a fair, trustworthy way of us managing governance. Governance is another aspect that will potentially be transformational because of the way we can now decentralize trust. You can build entire new governance models that you can deploy on local entities like companies and families to wide populations like entire countries or even worldwide countries. So And the amount of knowledge that is constantly being created by all the different teams pursuing different paths, different approaches, be it because I'm going to with zero knowledge implementations, because I'm going with optimistic implementations. What else is out there? It's coming down to them facing where they're optimizing for bare metal execution to the most of their extent, and then building tools on top of that so that hundreds of other developers can come in. So a lot of these teams, they're doing these tokens to finance their work, but a lot of this knowledge is being created. This knowledge isn't going anywhere. This knowledge is being preserved. This knowledge is being reused and repackaged and rebuilt upon and improved upon for all generations to come.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one thing that I also feel is that we are, of course, we are here, we are not me specifically, but like the ecosystem for like a couple of years now. But we are still in the beginning, like in the right beginning of a huge wave that is coming. And one thing that I would like your opinion on is, like the communities, we know that the communities are a huge part of any project that is created now. And still, I believe that there is a huge lack of information, a huge lack of knowledge, and it's hard to approach people that have never heard about Web3. I mean, they are still not even in Web2. I mean, so how do you see the industry going forward regarding these people that are so far away from this knowledge? I don't know, whoever wants.
Do you want me to tackle
that?
Yeah,
Of course.
It works? Okay, so it's tough. We do that every day at Utrust, right? We approach traditional merchants. We suffer as hell because you need to go to traditional merchants and explain them, look, you need to add crypto to your business because of this, of that. It's lower costs. We had, I mean, a bunch of stuff, and they are like, okay. Some say no, some say yes. The tech savvy say, wow, this is amazing. New revenue stream, fantastic. I tap into this crazy market. I have less risk. I have crazy good customers, lower fees, and all the other stuff that we offer. Then you have the more traditional ones that have no clue, the ones that you mentioned. They are like, nah, this is too much for me. And we are like, look, this is 2 minutes. It's a plugin. Yeah, it's a plugin. If you want to get in your bank, fine. Just allow people from any wallet in the world to buy stuff from you. That's what, it's the bridge, right? You need to start somewhere, right?
Of course.
And this is really tough. We do it daily. Me and obviously my business partners, the entire team, we push daily. Like, we really need traditional merchants, the traditional space, that's 99.9% of the space, to start embracing this new technology so they learn how it's better, and obviously allow us to tap into those markets, right? So we can expand. The adoption doesn't come obviously without payments. If you cannot buy goods and services with crypto, what is crypto, right?
Yeah, of course.
The principle of money, it's exchanging something for goods and services, then you get something, even if it's a piece of sand or whatever, and then you can exchange it for goods and services again, right? So that's obviously what we are trying to do, but I'm not selling here Utrust, by the way. I'm like a seller. I felt like a seller. That's not the case. I just believe that it's extremely difficult to pass this knowledge to some traditional players, but we are slowly getting there. We were slowly getting there. Already? Yeah, we were slowly getting there. Now we are faster and faster in getting there. I mean, you see big brands like adopting crypto. They might start with NFTs, this and that, but they are embracing this technology. And at the end of the day, I believe that in 5 to 10 years, every merchant in the world will accept crypto payments, period. I mean, that's a given for me, right? And then you have another products that will replace banks, right? I mean, Cristiano is here by my side. I mean, he can talk about it. But it's difficult to teach the traditional market how they can benefit with this, cutting all the intermediaries. I mean,
but on the other hand, it's also interesting that we are all talking about democratization, and like everybody talks about democratization, but then it's hard to democratize without education, without proper knowledge, without like getting people
We need to educate people.
Of course.
The people that are in this room, I mean, everybody here is empowered to create a crypto project tomorrow. I mean, you don't need to go to VCs. I mean, if you want to, you go, but you can go to a community, you can build up a community Create a chat. Look, guys, I have this idea. Is it cool? Yes. Build up your team from there, raise capital, and then do it. I mean, you don't need to go through the slow process. 90% will fail, yes. VCs in the last 30, 40, 50 years, they invested in projects, 90% failed as well. This is just a different thing. But it empowers ideas of people that wake up in the morning, I want to do this, then they might go talk with VCs, you get nothing, but the guy is really strong, right? The guy's like, I'm going to do this. I believe in this. And then he builds up a community of believers.
Yeah.
Because VCs are VCs. Believers, you have hundreds of millions. VCs, you have thousands. So you go to the hundreds of millions, and there are people that are in line with your vision, right? And those are the ones that will support you the most.
Of course.
Because they also bring the network effect, right? And then they educate others that are on the traditional side of the space. But anyways, this is a different topic. I just get crazy with stuff. I don't know. I'll pass the word to someone.
Yeah, do you want
otherwise
to share your view on this?
Sorry.
Yeah. I think the wholesale approach is going to be the most effective. Some people disagree. Some people say we should centralize as fast as possible, break rules, create unstoppable contracts, immutable and upgradable, etc., etc. I personally think that if they truly wanted to extinguish crypto, they would just target the fiat ramps. They have some, but it's the wholesale approach, which basically is you're offloading the liability, the risk, to third-party integrators. For instance, banks. In the US, you have a bank with a, well, I believe Kraken has a federal license, and Avanti Bank has a state banking license, a state charter, and they are actually going to issue their own stablecoin, Avid, relatively soon. So a product like Sandclock, a product like Yearn, a product like Have, and so on, if they wanted to pursue the wholesale approach, they would offer their treasury management contracts, services, to these centralized entities, and that would essentially shield them from litigation through their licenses and their bank charter. But I do think that this is the intermediate phase of adoption, and once everyone has been onboarded by these centralized entities, then we can say, and excuse my language, fuck you, and we're going to move to a fully decentralized world.
Yeah, cool. Anything to share on this?
Of course. From Uphold perspective, again, we are attempting to bridge this brave new world to the mass population, or everyone if possible. We are facing, of course, the regulatory restrictions, which we need to comply with, of course. But our belief is, in regards to the future, is we see a few trends happening. From one side, we see blockchains that are already matured and already found the solutions to some of the existing problems that haunted the initial blockchains. And they've already resolved those, and they're already looking ahead. How do we scale? How do we make sure this is a zero-sum game to all the intervenes? And how do we prepare this blockchain and this technology to do even more than what it does today? On the other hand, we see native technologies, native blockchains trying to resolve specific issues and proposing themselves to attack specific situations. We don't yet have an idea where the market will land. Okay? So it's too early to tell if it's a boy or a girl, basically. We don't know. The idea is that we're already seeing some specializing, optimizing as much as they can, some others already starting to being used in real-world practical utilizations. So to some areas, like the financial one, there's a lot of regulation that we need to go through that needs to adapt from the regulator side or from the proposition side. We need to be able to adapt.
Because that would also give some liability to the system, right? For the regular ones, for the people that have never heard about it, it's probably if you have laws or Credibility, exactly.
Yeah.
Credibility. Yeah,
So
definitely.
on those markets where crypto might have an impact, but the market is in itself already regulated, we are seeing adjustments being made because they can't simply ban. This is like banning oil engines in the 80s. No, everyone needs to ride a horse. No one will be riding cars. No, this is a lot of technology that can bring a lot of efficiency to humanity as an overall. So I believe it will still be around. Of course, it will need to fit the regulatory frames that are in existence. So markets where the regulatory framework is more heavy or more dense or more complicated or it's different from state to state, country to country, it's more complicated for the crypto to penetrate and penetrate fast those markets. But we are already seeing crypto being used on a day-to-day. And I believe this is an example for your area, for example. On the gaming side, there's not a lot of regulation there. So it's a market where the crypto and the NFTs and the decentralization is picking up and picking up really fast.
Yeah.
And our belief is that we will see this pop up on other areas because the technology is there, the technology is amazing, the technology is disruptive. It's a matter of people all over the world starting to realize what they can do with that technology and starting integrating it into their products. And this will happen naturally over the course of the coming years. The ones that are the least to be adopting it are the ones that are more regulated or more bureaucratic per se. The ones which are not bounded by that regulation or that bureaucracy will be the areas that will be taking advantage of this technology sooner. And we are seeing that already taking place in some areas.
True.
So that's what the amazing is blockchain's already solving for the next problem, the next issue, the next optimization, and people throughout the world already utilizing this technology on their day-to-day, on their companies, on their business. And then this is an expansion effect because other players on those markets will say, hey, you're integrating the NFTs and you're selling NFTs to decentralized markets within your game. I'll do the same.
Yeah.
And then, hey, do you want to connect your market with my market and we can switch armors and swords between each other? And this will start to happen and we'll see crypto. Crypto will become the bare bones of the internet connection to us in the 90s, for example. Many people will not be able to realize it today or 5 years from now, but they will already be using cryptographic technology without they even realizing that they're using, because the companies will package it in such a way that they don't necessarily need to know that a decentralized consensus is being used to achieve whatever they're doing.
And that's exactly where the real democratization will start to happen, right?
Yes.
Thank you. So we came here to talk about stories, and we're not telling any stories, so let's start telling some stories. I know, well, all of us know that 1 year in a crypto or in a Web3 project, it's equivalent to like 10 in a normal company, right? So probably all of us have many stories to tell. But I would like to not talk about only the big achievements, the huge successes. I'd like you to share a story of something that didn't go so well in your projects, and how did you overcome that, and how did you solve that, basically?
Yeah, I think we're still a very young company still to be talking about that, but I mean, we raised 100% from the community. We were approached
in March, right?
Yes, the first time, yes.
Yeah.
We were approached by many VCs. We decided to raise strictly from the community. I don't know if it was the right move.
It was. Of course.
It will be validated eventually. But,
were you an investor?
I cannot disclose my investments. I'm joking.
Ask him again 30 minutes from now.
But it was just probably not applying more VC-like terms to the deal.
Okay.
So essentially vesting. There was no vesting, and I had to implement vesting retroactively, forcefully, and yeah, you know, people don't like when the terms change, and rightfully so. But it had to be done, and that was probably so far the biggest mistake.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Nothing too spicy.
I mean, It is spicy, right? Congrats on that, obviously. I think this is what I want people personally, myself. Obviously, I'm no one. I'm in the crypto space, but this is so huge and it'll become so big. I'm no one here, right? I want people to do this, to go, I have an idea, to reach out, create a community and build it. That's the future, period. I don't believe the future is, oh, I have this idea, let me have 1 million calls with VCs or wherever. I don't believe that's the future. I believe the future is ours. Anybody in this room can have a crazy idea. If they have the motivation, they go, they execute, right?
Yeah.
I always tell this. They go, they execute, they create the team, they have their treasury, they can be a DAO or a bit more centralized, wherever, but they achieve something that will help this industry to go forward. As I said, 90% will fail. I don't talk about scams because scams are inside the 90% of also good ideas that failed, right? But 10% will push this industry forward. It's I call it experimentation, right? We need to fail, fail, fail. If I fail tomorrow, next day I'll wake up and I'll say, I don't want to fail. Let me try again because, you know, and this is what this industry about. And we are shaping the world. Hopefully, we will move the capital from 10 people to 10 million people, right? That's how it should be. But no, you need to be an accredited investor. You need to be a millionaire to become a billionaire. Why not be a normal person that believes in something? Okay, scams are an excuse, right? People need to do their choices and need to be able to invest in stupid stuff sometimes for 90% of the people, but then they become the future, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't judge ideas. I think the most crazy ideas are the best. I don't judge ideas, me personally.
Yeah.
I love people that take the risk, that go, put their effort in front, try to raise capital from the community and do something and build. This is going to be the future, by the way. In the metaverse, because we're going to live there, right? My opinion is that we're going to live in a virtual world. You're going to put something in your head, will stimulate your neurons, and then you'll live in a virtual reality that your sensations are the same as we are having now, right?
It's like Ready Player One style.
Probably, yeah, but even more enhanced. You will feel stuff because it will trigger your brain, right? And in that place, there will be none of the stuff that we are thinking about, right? But this needs to be global. The future will have no jobs almost because the robots will do everything. Everything will be automated. So, I mean, think about this. We need to really shift. And I think crypto is going to be the biggest thing that happened after the internet. And obviously, internet empowers Web3, right? It's the biggest thing that will happen because we have no idea how the world would change. If you told someone 10 years ago that cars would drive alone, you had 2 people in 1 million that say, yeah, that's going to happen. But it's happening, right? I mean, just for people to know. So everybody that listens to this talk, my thing for them is do what I did, take the risk, create your project, raise the capital from a community, and go. You may fail. It's part of the game, right? But you are doing something that you believe is going to change the world to a better place, right? We don't need banks. You can pay, in my case, from a decentralized wallet. I mean, all of us have different use cases. And I mean, Uphold has an amazing product, probably the best UX UI in the world when it comes to an exchange type service. And our partners, obviously, selling your product, everybody downloading the app, KYCing and stuff. I'm joking. But I mean, I really believe in this industry. I'm a crazy guy, I know it. But I really believe that we are the future, and it's like we are 10 years away of like the boom, right? So everybody in this room, everybody that listens to this call, join the revolution. Be bold. Obviously, if you need money to pay the bills, fine. You have your work. When you come back home, you create your idea, build up your community. You try to get interesting people to your team. You share with them, obviously. They are your team members, your co-founders, right? And then you build something really cool. I would love to see more people doing this, and I think that will be the trend, and I respect it, and I vouch for it. And the craziest ideas, I respect them. Nobody can judge you how crazy your idea is. If you want to do something, do it. If you have a community that supports you, then you become a company, yada, yada. Do it. I mean, do it. I did it. I mean, one
Are
of
you
the guys
feeling
that
empowered, or it's just me?
got lucky. Man. I'm the Tony Robbins of crypto.
I see.
I'm joking.
I see.
But our CEO, Sanya, she loves Tony Robbins. That's for you, Sanya. Boom. No, but I really try to give that message out so people risk it. I mean,
And I believe you're passing it.
Yeah, everybody can do everything. I was a guy in traditional industry, law, marketing, textile manufacturing background. What do I have to do with crypto? Yeah, I was in that field, right? But I didn't study to be in this field.
Yeah.
I took the risk. I'm going to focus on this because I was obsessed. Everybody can do it. And this will be a trend, right? The more people do it, the more experimentations, the more failures, wins. 90% will fail or whatever. But this industry is going forward with people like that, right?
Definitely.
That take the risk, believe in themselves, and execute.
Definitely. Thank you.
They can fail, but it's life. Fail is part of the process.
Danielle, do you want to talk about
yeah, 4 stories. So 4 stories, let me tell you 2 stories.
Okay.
One happened a long time ago. So I'm not sure how familiar all of you might be with crypto industry, but this is basically and you've mentioned bad stories. So this is the first time we were bit slapped by crypto.
Okay.
And this was on the ETH to EDC fork. So we were still a very small company at the time. And we arrived one day, and the fork happened, and wait a minute, there's no replay protection. What the hell? How do we resolve this now? There was no mechanism whatsoever to protect funds from being replayed on the 2 networks at the same time. And there we were with deposits and withdrawals enabled, and that is happening. So for those of you who are not familiar, this might allow that the funds would be moved on 2 of the networks when they should only be moving on 1 of the networks. So it wasn't still a lot of consensus, and this was still stuff that happened. This was, to us, the first event where the crypto community did not come to a consensus, and a fork happened, and the fork happened without the consensus, without the proper protections that would allow to protect the funds from all the wallets and all the people that were connected to Ethereum at the time. So this came to us as a surprise, and this was the first time that we as a company had to really look at the crypto world and face, we need to keep tabs on you. You're running too fast. We need to be able to run as fast as you are. This was an example. We came out of it clear. This is amazing. The other example happened very recently. So the market just hit us like a wall, and we went into a hyper growth stage. We were growing so fast. It was unbelievable. We went from onboarding 5,000, 10,000 customers a day to onboarding 50,000 customers, and it was like, wait, we were not ready for all of this. And all of that load was stretching our customer services, our APIs, our infrastructure, our teams, our suppliers, our vendors. They were coming into a crunch with all the demand for us. And we say, okay, we knew we were getting it. We didn't know we were getting it that fast. And it was a very hard, demanding period for all of the team to come together and be able to be together and find solutions to every problem that was hitting us left and right and trying to bend us and taking us down. And we were just finding the next solution and resolving the next problem. And after 5 days of almost no sleep, hey, wait a minute, life continues. This still goes. You need to fix more stuff. You need to move forward. And it is amazing to me the way that the different teams on all these different companies are coming together and believing on their projects and helping out each other and trying to build amazing workplace environments where diversity and knowledge can flourish, but also friendships can flourish. And to me, this is one of the great things that this brave new world is bringing, is allowing these people with different mentalities, with different visions, to come together and work as friends, as partners, as team members, and be there and growing this brave new thing that might change the world for maybe just a few people, or maybe millions of people. But it is being used to change the life of a few and of many through the work that these teams together every single day work to build and to achieve. This is to me the biggest story around crypto. That's what I feel personally. The story of the people coming together and being able to work to make tomorrow a better world, to leave the world tomorrow better than what we found it when we arrived here.
Wow, very cool. Beautiful.
President Daniel,
Yeah.
the next president of Portugal.
No.
Who votes? Me.
Well, as we need to be conscious of time, and I recall there is a dance class after on this room, if you want to stay for the dance class. I will ask you just a last question for the three of you, which is if you had to give an advice to a younger self before starting all these Web3 crypto paths of yourself, what should you say?
Start as soon as possible. Once you have the idea, just go for it, first to market, and yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Don't think about it. There's no point. It's going to be difficult.
Mais tu? Dani.
So from my end, two things. One, to the first time you were introduced in 2011 and say, oh, what's this about crypto? And you said, can't you just copy paste and have the same money? and instead of waiting for an answer, you should have searched the answer, because you knew it's not possible, and you would knew in 2011 how amazing this technology would have been by then. Which means I would potentially be multi-billionaire by now, but we can't cry on missed chances.
Of course.
On the possibility of going back, in regards to the approach that I had to the crypto world, I believe it was done at an amazing time with an amazing team, and we're building an amazing product. So I wouldn't change what we'll potentially be able to do in the past. I'm actually eager to what we can deliver in the future.
Sure. Okay, cool.
Now you.
Thank you.
What I would do differently would buy more Bitcoin, number one. It was cheap at that time. And probably I would work with people better. Because when I was younger, I was throwing ideas, but I was not too focused, right? You need to be focused. One thing is having an idea, pushing for it, but you need to be focused. I think I was not too focused.
Yeah.
Now, with the age, 2 daughters, my wife, keeping me always focused. I'm always focused, right? But I think focus is necessary. You want to achieve something. But this is a general thing, right? In crypto or not in crypto?
Of course, in life.
That question is crypto-related, but can be applied to everything.
Of course.
Be more focused, more calm. Sometimes you can manage it or not, but try to be more calm. And that's basically, and I would have bought more Bitcoin, honestly. I think about that every day. Because everybody knows me in my team since the very beginning. I was like, my Bitcoin. It was like a couple $100, right? And myself, I could have bought more, right? That's only my only advice. And be focused. If you believe in something, focused, calm. The people around you, be sharp. Don't try to be all over the place. That happened to me. But each person is different. But that's your question for me, right? What I would change. I would change that. I'll be more calm, more focused.
Of course. Okay.
Right? But I wouldn't change anything else. I mean, I have beautiful and amazing business partners that I love and I have the pleasure to work with. So, I mean, I'm happy overall. I just want this industry to go forward. And I want everybody to feel empowered. Everybody and this is something that Sanya teach to me, be empowered. I mean, if anybody here has an idea and they want to explore it by themselves, build it, do it, you can. I mean, even I could do it, and I'm not like the smartest guy in the world, right? I mean, I literally think everybody can do what they want in the crypto space, because you have a community backing you up. You don't depend on the traditional play. You don't depend on banks. You don't have to have a meeting in 3 days at 3 p.m. with the bank manager that has 300 managers on top of him. You go directly to the source, you throw it out in the internet, and suddenly you have an army that's like, let's do it, I like this idea, right? right? I mean, it's
and
global.
We have quite a great example here, right, tonight, with this huge community that Braga is creating.
Braga is
and it's also amazing because of you guys, so thank you for that.
Thank you
too.
very much for the invitation.
And thank you all for coming, and let's leave this room for the dance, and let's dance on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Just a couple notes before you leave. So we have a lot of food out there, but we had a lot of people here. We have a lot of people here, so be patient. We will have food, but it will take some time to get it because it's a small space. If you want to stay for the dance, you can. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Philippe, for the wine as well. This was amazing. Thank you for coming. And hopefully we will do this again in a month or two. Thank you. Have a great night.